Simple principle that we're looking at. Person's encroached, hands are down, caught in close proximity. So it could be the old classic, I go to walk and he steps out in front, I go to walk and he steps back, and then I realise, fuck, this is a confrontation. Puts that in your head?
Yeah.
And rather than step back and try to negotiate, which I might habitually do as a contact manager, in which case you're not going to do what I'm going to give you now. But if I don't, and I was to do something from here, what is the best thing I could do? Best thing I do is, boom, just hit that, which will give me this. From there I can hammer this, or elbow this, or grab him and drag him, and fuck off. That's the way you would use it. But just for the purpose of training a certain strike I want to introduce you to, this is going to be the format scenario. Guys in your face, you slap his groin, and then you bare pull it back in his head. Yes? That's where you go. And you'll do it in kit. But before we do that, I'm going to teach you the shot, the strike. Right? So we don't get to spend any time practicing necessarily with the groin shot, but we're going to nonetheless. I want you to partner with the 2 pads to put on a groin guard. Which go. What I really want to isolate then quickly is just this big pair, paw type of face smash. So in level 1, if you take a grade 1, you're learning this basic linear strike. In level 2, you will learn how to do the linear strike left and right. You'd also learn how to configure this kind of chin jab left and right. And you'd also know how to, if your hands were high, smash the hand down and in through the face, as if you were face smashing. Chin jab, face smash, and the palm strike all come from combatives, but they're all the same fucking thing. It's the palm. The one that's most useful when somebody's bent over is like a bare paw type strike. The way in which I'd employ it from a frontal perspective would be my hands would have to be up. And rather than pull back, which you'd see because it's telegraphic, I would seek to keep my hand where it is and explode off this foot forward, which I'm not going to do. I would literally, from here, keep this still and move my body, which would create traction of pulling back. But you're static, so you didn't see it. So like a catapult, instead of me going, oh, I've left this where it is and pushed the fulcrum forward. So you'll miss it. Once I hit the target, smash it into the face, palm heel on the chin, this soft part smashing the nose, the fingers configurated forward so that the fingertips will reliably impact an eye on the way through. I'm getting a solid disruption from the brain shake of the skull and tissue trauma damage as I tear through the flesh. Very good tool for a woman. Very good anti-rape tool, because she's now accumulated DNA. So the way in which we would practice that would be to throw this shot in like you're throwing a baseball and you boom, bring it through. This is how you would learn it. But the best way to learn it, the real caveman way, would be if the target was here and bent over. And this is now the back of my head. Right? So this is the same thing. I'm going to use this hand. This is the same thing as the hammer fist. A lot of people, when you learn the hammer fist from here in a straightforward configuration, will do this shit. Because the pad's in front. The actual motion of the movement is down and through. It's coming downward. But it feels weird to throw something downward as something that's there. But you should bring it through. Face smash is the same. Understand? But the best way I would get that feel of coming down without me even showing you would be if you fed me like that. Because now I eventually know that that's the way the hammer fist works best. So it's this feed that you're going to get with your partner. And of course, if you do with the hands somehow. Right? And you're just going to keep it, I want you from a feint perspective. So you would be here. Boom. In this case, you would be here. So I want you to throw the hand over lazy, like you're just going to bowl a cricket ball, and just boom, let it fall, move through. Dropping your weight lazily, which I'm trying to do without any explosion or any dynamic movement, obviously because of post-surgery. But I want you to enjoy the dynamic movement, yes? So, if you can come in and hold this up for him, or just keep those on your hand. I want you to throw that lazy shot over the way in which you enjoy it. Yeah, just throw a nice big bear. Well, that's it. And again. One more. Right, so think of the analogy of a tiger's claw. And even way back in the World War II type of combatives era, particularly what was taught to the US Marine Corps, incorporated this kind of terminology. I never used this tiger's claw or a strike because it sounded kind of goofy. Right? But if you think about it, this face smashing motion coming down, Imagine a small cat taking a swipe. It's that trajectory with claws out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then imagine the same swipe from a similar type of animal, only this time it's a 350-pound Bengal tiger on steroids. And it's got a fucking paw like a tree trunk. And the whole bone column that hits your head is going to smash your skull. Oh, and then it's got 6 razors attached, which is going to clear your face off. If you think about that kind of analogy and damage and superimpose it and make it bigger in your head, kind of gives you where I want you to be with it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So your imagination is a brilliant tool. You should use it. So you are going to teach this face smash. You're going to do it like this. You're going to slap matey in the groin first, here, which will bring him forward. And then you've got to feed you like that. That's the tube from there. You go boom with that square over. Can you show me that? Right where you were there for the purpose of the camera. So you're going to flank to the right hip with the left hand. So flank, you slap the groin. He presents. There's the big shot. So that's where you can start from. So bend over with that. Keep that a little high because that's supposed to be your head. And let's get some flight time in this position with that shot. So work to my count. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4, 5 is 5. Got it? The amount of reps I tell you is a number. Right? You ready? Every shot big. 1. All the way through. So you're hitting with that big bony column with those claws projected. Where your aiming is there. Boom. Shut the computer down. Yeah, big shot. 2 of those now. So take your time. 2 of them. Good. Now 3. We'll just go 3. That energy.
It's working out the finger power.
Yeah. And you give that proper energy now you're bent over. It's from there work out your feet. So as soon as you have that shot over here, that's where it's going to be. Give him that moment. Don't reset yourself to make it all perfect. Go from where you were. Now from here, throw a big boulder over, hit the target, and as it hits the target, drop your weight. Just unweight your feet. Get the feel of that. This shot usually suits a big man. They do it once, boom, oh, they're like that. If you're light in the ass, it's not so good for you, then don't use it. But there's nothing wrong with the mechanical motion if you had a bottle in your hand. It's not the tool, it's just this won't necessarily work for somebody light because you're too light in the arse. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in which case do it with a brick. Yes? But the idea is to set that shot up, wheel it over it. 2
Right, get ready, throw your partner. Present the pads.
Look at where he is, where your body is.
2, right! Good. Right, get ready. Same thing again. 1, 2, right! And again, one more time.
Change it, the up his feet.
1, 2, 3.
Good, right. Get ready with your partner. First count, slap the groin. I want it short, sharp, and explosive. You're not feeling the weight of his package. We're putting it up for his fucking tonsils, right? So nice solid slap, give me that. 1! Right, now, look at your target. Put your left hand as an index onto the pads. So now you know exactly where it is. Now make the biggest fucking throwing and whipping motion you can and replace your hand with the weapon. Put it right through. Do it with venom. Like you're really fucking gonna hit with hurt and hate. Ready? Big, big shot. Turn! Right! Let's repeat that shot. Stay where you were. Shall I get? Turn! Right! All the way through. Turn! Right! It's that big shot. Don't stop it. So see, I can see what you're doing here, Tim. You're landing it, stopping your energy, and then push it. Don't. Just whip the whole thing through like you're trying to break his head with your floppy arm. Ready? 1, right! 2, 3, right. Right, going to put that whole sequence together. Going to work to 1, then 2, 3 times, and then 1 count per beat.
Right, get ready. Wait for 2 counts. 1, 2, right! Good, right, back out. Remember, the first thing you do is the most important thing you do. Hopefully you're going to drop him in once and make it count. Make sure you hit the groin hard. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good, last one. Get ready? 1, 2, right.
Feeling the money, you're not going to do it. And you don't really want to slap and let him run away too miles so he can get back in the fight and run at you. So it's a good idea to check his arm when you hit the ground. Because now it stops him getting away from me immediately. Whereas if I don't do that and he staggers back, he's going to clear himself an hour in the fight. So I need to hold him, that's the first thing. The second thing is, as I hold him, I'm not going to get all the way here and then just go, hello. Like that, right? I'm literally, as I come forward, I'm going to bring this back and literally develop that tension here so I've got boom, this shot. So think of throwing a groin shot like a pendulum. And even from a short space, you create a pendulum by keeping the weapon where it is, exploding your body forward. And then ping, release. And now there's an impact through. But it's not this. Right? Hit the fucking thing. So a good way to practice is hold his clothes, stand here already, and just boom, swing. Boom, swing. Boom, swing. I'm just using my arm, no body mechanic. Now you feel it, right?
Yes.
So bit of that, get that in.
1, 2. And again, get ready. 1, 2. We'll put it together a little bit faster now. Get ready. 1, 2.
So from here I can just push him and run. But for the purpose of the drill, stay indexed and throw your hand right over the top here and whip down on the back of the head. Your partner will be wearing a helmet so you can just place it. But I'm going to just place a heavy slap like that. That's just the weight of my hand. With a helmet, no more than that. The reality is, poof, through his head. So I want you to get a feel of it, right? So, I'm going to go very slowly. This way. So your motion would be fast out the gate. I'm not moving fast out the gate. Right? I'm post-surgery. I'm just trying to show you something. Literally from here, I want that. But when I get that, I want that shot coming over. And that shot coming over, here, once I hit the groin and he's already accelerating forward, will give me that. Yeah. And really, while you're staying up, you're going down. That's where you're at. So even though it's a lazy arm, keep it on nice and tight. Right, put it where it'll finish. So I'm here, I slap this groin and it's just that down you can't, and then boosh, body to face, whatever else. The shot's got enough significance to drop in the medium. It's not a gradual, although it might be. If you didn't drop on the first one, what would you do now?
Keep going.
Attach, hammer and elbow, branch. You continue, do it again and again and again. What I'm saying is, particularly for a big, strong, thick-boned man like him, this shot is just, poof, oh, that's the one. It's the holy grail. So I want you to try it. So that's that. I can put in a good shot there. Once he's got a helmet on, which would just be something like this with a soft backing, I can't put in such a good shot. But I can get that lazy feel that we were talking about. And if you combine that lazy feel with what we were talking about to when he was holding the pad, you hit it as hard as you can, and you'll get an appreciation for what we were just doing. So the way to do it would be to go here, boom, he's got the helmet, I'll place the shot and it still gives me that down impact. So I'm getting a blueprint in my brain of what the capacity this tool has. It's plausible under the right conditions. There are 2 shots I could get in face first, eating the pavement. What does that look like? You build the blueprint in your brain with the simulation. And then when you go back to the pads to finish it at the end, you'll find that you will demonstratively hit them harder than when you started. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that's where I'm going. Welly this shot, pull this shot. But even though you're going to pull it, I want you to still get the big motion with the intent. So when I bang the shot here, and I want that move back. And I purposely let it lay on him and then pushed him to give you the idea of what I want. But ideally, that wouldn't be like that. It would be boom, powered through. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yep. You're going to do 3 reps. You're going to go here, boom, boom, left side. Then you're going to go boom, boom, right side. And if you want to add a bit of bargy and a bit of dialogue, do it. Yes?
Go! That was better. That was much better, okay? Right, same thing the opposite side. Get ready. Go!
You fucking looking at? What you fucking
Let's go back to the hammer fists.
Yeah, that's it. Now you know the context and the idea and how you're going to do it out of simulation. When he slaps your groin down, hit the pad. Now when you hit the pad where you think you should. Alright? You slap the groin. Now that's what you want to put through his head when you were simulating, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can't because you've got to pull it out. But that's still harder, even though it was hard before, than you were doing before. It took you to see the context of the drill to appreciate, oh yeah, that is going to be fucking hard. That's why you want to finish with the pad. Yeah? So go partner, so pad, isolate drill, partner pad with kit, padded kit man in with simulation, then back to the pad.
Whoa, now what's up?
That's a shot.
Whoa, what's your problem? Whoa, get it back! Push! Push!
I'm 5 weeks post-op, so I had a full hip replacement, which is major surgery. So titanium ceramic ball now replaced, right? I'm ahead in my recovery, and I'm being very careful and very gingerly. But it can take anything up to 6 to 8 months to a year to be back to where I was. I intend to be back to where I was by May. But part of that was crutches. So for the first release from Christmas, from the hospital, after 4 days, I was on crutches for 2 weeks. I'm in my house, housebound, but suggests that I go out and I walk up the road because I've got to keep them moving. Even for me and myself, do you think there's a plausibility that I maybe felt less confident walking up the road like this after major surgery than I normally would?
Slightly, yeah.
Of course I can. I felt vulnerable, and I think about such things and project the disparity level with the scales accordingly, right? But I can't necessarily arm myself with any weapon that's illegal, which of course I wouldn't. But I've got a fucking crutch. In fact, I've got 2. So how the fuck could I use them? So I've been on crutches before. When I snapped my Achilles, I come up with a few ideas. And the ideas actually translate really well to what we just did, right? So if I was to employ 2 of them, I mean, logically I'm going to play the artist part. Man, fuck's sake, I'm on crutches, what the fuck? And boom, he's getting some of that. And then he's getting boom, some of that round the back of his arm, isn't he? Which really isn't that different to what you just did, is it? Right? So that's it, I just wanted to look at the fun of that. Maybe I could just go, here, I want to get that, so I've got your leg, and then here, maybe I lose that and it branches, boom, look at that nice straight shot. So it's there, so there's something I could do. And it would be in my fucking interest to do it if he's going to give me a problem while I've got the range to use the crutches. Because in 1 second, if he closes his body up, hit into me, just close me down, I ain't using them and he's taking me to the floor. So any impact to me at all whilst being on these crutches would knock me down. Because I can't be dynamic, there's no stability. But I can be deceptive. So mate, I don't know if I can trouble you. If I say boom, hit me and then hit me in the fucking head, I'll get it nice straight shot. In fact, I've been practicing on my fence post and I've got the same spot every fucking time. So that's how you would use 2. I'd hit him in the bollocks with 1, and if the aerial clearance was there, boom, this would come down, even if I lost it. Oh my Christ. That was one shot. Sorry. Right?
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Same deal if you just add 1. So if you just add 1 and he gets close to you here and you're trying to be intimidating and everything else, but your ball shot's there, boom, here it is, and there you've got this. And the back of his nut. The point is, it's not necessarily what you've got in your hand or the tool or the weapon or the drill bit. It's the tactical principle of hit him low and hit him high. It doesn't get much simpler than that, does it? I remember an old uncle of mine going, I come back with a bloody leg from school, I've been bullied at school, been in a fight, and he'd give me some advice. Show him that one, hit him with that one. You know what I mean? This shit's been around for years. Hit low, boom, hit high. Hit high, boom, hit low. It's a good means to overwhelm somebody on a psychological level. Does that make sense? And it translated to what we were doing, which was here, being approached, here, as I'm walking, one go boom like this, and then there, boom, there's that shot. The same deal. Yeah? I just really, in the main, rather than give you that lesson, wanted to do that. That's why we're doing it. Any questions? Right, kick off.